Hey, here we are. We have met up with Kathy Ball from the U.S. Forest Service, and Kathy and I are clinging to the side of this big old rock right here, looking out over Kings Canyon. One false move, and we'll be in Kings Canyon, won't we, Kathy?
That's absolutely right.
All right, tell us exactly what we're looking at, because this is one of the most beautiful views I have ever seen in California.
It is spectacular, and what we're looking at is the Kings Canyon drainage. We're looking north to the Middle Fork of the Kings River and over towards the Sierra National Forest, and we're actually standing in Sequoia National Forest.
Boy, this is just spectacular. How high up are we? Because I'm beginning to breathe a little heavy already.
We're at about 8,000 feet here.
The air is clean and crisp and pure. You can hear the birds singing.
It's beautiful.
Off in the distance. All's right with the world.
That's right.
Now, this is exciting for us. For Kathy, this is nothing. This is just another day at the office, isn't it?
I wouldn't say that. I still think the views here are awesome, even though we are at my office.
All right, we are at Kathy's office and her home, right?
My home, that's correct.
And I guarantee you, you have one of the most beautiful and unique offices and homes anywhere in California. Let's take a look at it right here. This is it. This is where Kathy works and lives on a daily basis. Tell us what we're looking at, Kathy.
We are looking at Buck Rock Fire Lookout. It's part of the Hume Lake District in Sequoia National Forest. And as you said, this is my home and my office during the fire season.
Because you are
I am a fire lookout.
A fire lookout. And before we're going to hike up to the top of there and kind of visit your place, get a home tour. Tell us a little bit about the history of fire lookouts, of fire towers in California, because there's a rich history there.
There is a rich history.
Boy, when you get up closer to it, this is really a big, sheer kind of a cliff we're looking at here.
It sure is. It's huge.
How did they get that? You call it a cab, right? The little house is called a cab. I've been reading up on that.
That's correct. We call them a cab.
How did they get that up there? How did they ever build it?
From what I understand, they used hoist and cables to haul the materials up, and the materials came from probably Pinehurst by mule.
Back in?
Back in 1923. Do you see those pipes going up the rock there?
Yeah.
Originally, that's where a tree was leaning against the rock, and there were steps nailed into it, and that was the access to get to the top of the lookout. And then beyond there was just a rope, and people used to haul themselves up on the rope to get to the very top where the cab now sits.
Now, that old tree was replaced by stairs back in?
Back in the 1920s, it was replaced actually just by a series of ladders.
And those ladders were replaced by these stairs.
That's correct. This stairway came in 1942 after the lookout was built.
Wait a minute. You mean in the early days there wasn't even really a lookout up there? They would just go up there and sit?
That's correct. It was an observation post, and there was a small platform on top of the rock, and the fire watcher would come on horseback and climb up the ladder and just make observations on top of the rock.
Now this is something right here. And when you look out here, you're literally climbing up into space.
It feels that way.
You're just hanging out. Is this safe?
It better be.
No, I mean, really, we're just...
Well, this is the original stairway. Nothing has changed since 1942 on the stairway except for the steps that you're stepping on.
Boy, I've never experienced anything like this. Oh my gosh. This. Oh.
What do you think?
This is great. What a view.
The wood and glass.
And when you're not up here, what do? Put these awnings down?
Actually, the awnings stay up like this throughout the fire season, and they only come down in the wintertime to protect it from the winter storms.
Yeah.
So we have the awnings up no matter how high the winds are blowing or how much thunderstorm activity we have.
Boy, I could just sit right here. Look what we're looking at out here. Wait, but you have a little bird feeder up here. What kind of birds come up here?
We have hummingbirds that come up here. I discovered them when I brought a bouquet of flowers up a few years ago, and the hummingbirds were trying to get into my flowers, so I put up a feeder.
Boy, these are high-flying hummingbirds.
They sure are.